Hey everybody, in this video I kind of want to go over my thoughts on 3D World and Bowser's Fury. I'm going to be talking about specifically mainly the Bowser's Fury mode, but I kind of want to give my opinion on what I've played so far. Kind of a first impressions and sort of a kind of review, but I want to do that later, but sort of just my thoughts over the past couple of days playing it. Now, 3D World, of course, is Mario 3D World. It is exactly what it was on the Wii U, and it is great, of course, you know, everybody loves it on the Wii U. It's the same game back on the Switch, and now it's portable. So that is great, but the thing is, you know, there's not really much new stuff there, you know, of course we knew that going into it, but yeah, it is pretty much just 3D World on the Wii U. They have adjusted the speed, and they've adjusted how much you can climb. The speed for me is a little bit off-putting. I prefer how it was on the Wii U, but maybe that's because I haven't put that much time into the Switch port yet. You know, with the Wii U version I put in loads and loads of hours into that, so I was kind of used to how that game controlled, so when I'm looking at the same game and it runs faster, my brain doesn't really know what to do with it, so hopefully, you know, over a couple more hours, you know, I'll get used to the Switch version, hopefully I'll be able to do it better. But yeah, for me personally, I kind of do prefer, you know, doing it on the Wii U as it stands right now, but hopefully I'll put more time into it and maybe I'll enjoy the controls a little bit better about that. Kind of do want to make a video on that there about the speed. I might do it, I'm not sure yet, but yeah, hoping to do a video on that soon. But mainly I've been playing Bowser's Fury. Now Bowser's Fury is basically what we've got, the closest thing that we've got to a sort of an open world Mario game, which is very, very interesting. So basically, you know, you're on this little like ocean segment of like a world, and different little mini levels open up all in one go. So, for example, like in Mario Sunshine, you have to like travel to the different levels on the map. You know, in Al Delfino, you'd go into the little rooms and all that sort of thing. You'd have to wait on a loading screen. That isn't there. It's all under one area. Now, that is interesting because that's the first time we've seen that. Even Odyssey, you know, you'd have to go through a loading screen and load into a level. This time you don't have to load into levels. Now the levels are smaller and they are in one big area, but you have to actually travel to the different areas and complete different tasks there. And it is kind of like Odyssey in the sense of you have to get these little cat shines, which are like the moons, and from there you have to like unlock more areas, and then you have these big boss fights with Bowser. So yeah, it is really, really interesting, and I feel like it's the way of the Mario team kind of working out what they want to do with the series. So, you know, it's a new sort of idea. They're having this idea of, you know, an open world Mario game, which is really, really interesting to me because we haven't seen that yet. And you know, they're taking this idea of defeating Bowser, which is interesting now. So yeah, you know, it's different. We haven't had anything like it before. It's hard to describe, but it is really interesting. Now, one thing I do not really like that much about the game is that it is on a sort of like a weather cycle, and this weather cycle allows Bowser to, you know, basically unleash his fury and become the boss fight. So yeah, it's on a weird, like I think it's a 15-minute cycle, so there might be certain areas in the game where you have to get Bowser to be angry and do like the boss fight section, and you might have to wait 15 minutes for that. Or likewise, there might be a certain section where you don't need Bowser to be angry, you need him to be away, while you can do other things. So it is interesting how they've implemented that sort of like, you know, that cycle there. I'm not a huge fan of it. I wish there was like a button prompt you could do, or like you pick up a power up or you go to a certain area and then that sets Bowser off so you can control that. But you know, it's an interesting take. You know, it's an interesting idea that, you know, this world and then Bowser can take over. It's really, really strange. And I'm actually thinking about it, like, you know, what engine is this running on? Is this running on the Odyssey engine? Is this running on the 3D World engine? Because it is so much like Odyssey in certain ways, with like some of the animations lifted straight from Odyssey, but the models in the game are like 3D World. There's certain like pipes you can go down and it looks just like 3D World. So it's really, really interesting to see, you know, this kind of mesh between 3D World, which is obviously what game is bundled with, and also kind of like an Odyssey. It's very, very strange, Bowser's Fury. It feels, to me at least, it felt like a DLC pack for Mario Odyssey. So I feel like this might have been planned as, you know, some Odyssey expansion pass, but then they thought, you know what, we'll bundle it with 3D World. We don't have to make extra content to make it 3D World Deluxe. So I don't really know, but it's interesting. You know, I don't really know what to really do, what my full take on it is. You know, I don't hate it, but I'm confused about it a little bit. It's taken some getting used to because it's so different. So I don't really know what my full opinion is, but as it stands right now for my first impressions, I'm really, really liking it, and it is a really fun mode. Apparently the mode is about 3 hours long, so you can kind of do it in one sitting if you want to, but also if you want to get everything in the game, it's going to take about 6 hours, because I think there's about 100 cat shines you have to get, so that's kind of interesting. You know, it is going to take a while, 6 hours to do, which is debatably, you know, the same length as 3D World. 3D World is pretty, you know, short, and that's another issue I had kind of with 3D World, to be honest. Like, the length of 3D World was also really, really short because of the speed increase. You know, they increase the speed, the characters move quicker, That means, you know, it just takes, you know, a really short amount of time to beat the game. And even when I played the Wii U version, it took me like 20 hours to beat the game. Maybe it wasn't as good as the game. Maybe, you know, you can say, oh, you know where to go now. But this time playing through it, you know, it felt like, you know, I don't know, just sort of, you know, it took me longer to go through it this time, or it took me shorter, I should say, to get through everything in this game. You know, I was through within 24 hours of actually owning it for 3D Worlds because I was able to finish that. So yeah, but with Bowser's Fury, I'm still trying to get through that. Still trying to finish it. You can beat it in one sitting. I'll probably go for 100% on Bowser's Fury. But it is interesting. It's interesting how we have like Bowser Jr. Following us around, and you can help him out in certain sections. That's really interesting. We haven't really had Bowser Fury, or we haven't really had Bowser Jr. follow people around or help us around with that sort of thing. So yeah, that's really interesting what they did with that as well. There's these little cats that you have to go around and sort of like pick up, and they just sort of exist, these like secret cat areas as well, and they can help you get different shines. There's a Shadow Luigi section, kind of like Mario Sunshine. So yeah, there's kind of a lot of Mario ideas that have all been chucked into one here with this expansion. It's really, really interesting. You know, there's also Plushie the dinosaur that you can go around and sort of fast travel to different areas. It is kind of like an open world in the sense of you can go to these different levels, but it's not that big. It's probably just a little bit bigger than the Sand Kingdom in Mario Odyssey, if that makes sense if you played that. So yeah, it is open in the sense of you can, there's no like loading screens to go to levels, but it is kind of not that open as there's not much to go to. It's kind of hard to explain. Another issue I kind of have with the game, I do really like the mode by the way, just one little nitpick I have had with the game is that the loading screens are kind of bad, to be honest. Like, when you get like the bell that makes you into like the Super Mario, where you get like huge, the loading screens can be quite long, I've noticed. And to boot up the game, the loading screens are also quite long as well. I get why though, it's the Switch, they're trying to like push the Switch to run this massive game, and it makes sense why the Switch is not able to run it that well, because I think it's only running at 720p, which is fine, it looks beautiful, but the loading screens aren't the best, and I get why, because it's a big game, there's big things going on, and it makes sense, and it takes time to load it. There's one thing I did notice with the game, is that when you go from docked mode to handheld mode, and we knew about this before the game even came out, but one thing I did notice is it goes from 30 FPS to 60 FPS, which is really, really weird, because you would think, I don't really know that much about software development or game development, but you would think that they would go, oh, the game doesn't run that well in handheld mode, we should lower the resolution to maybe 480p, 580, about the 500p mark, do that sort of thing, lower the resolution so we can get 60 on handheld and also docked. For some reason they didn't do that, I don't know why, but it's kind of off-putting to play the game in 60 FPS, 720p on the dock, take it out of the dock and it's now 30 FPS, 720p. Seems like a weird decision, doesn't really make much sense to me. I don't really mind the jump between 30 and 60, I can notice it, I can tell, but I'm not really that bothered, so yeah. That was kind of just my thoughts on Bowser's Fury. I am really, really liking the mode. I like how original it is. It is a little bit confusing to me, but it's a good kind of confusing. I'm excited to look forward to it and hopefully see more of it. So yeah, I'm just excited to just get through it. It's a different mode. It's something we've never seen from Mario before. I hope we get more like it. It's just weird to me how they sort of bundle this in with 3D World. But yeah, really, really interesting mode. I really, really like it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, everybody, because I kind of want to know, what's everybody's thoughts on Bowser's Fury? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you in another video. Cheers for watching, everybody.